Hey, this is Greg. Quick story. About a year ago, I was out shopping at BJ's with Maryann, and I normally do all the food shopping, but on this particular day, she was with me. And whenever she goes to BJ's with me, she has a penchant for buying stuff we don't normally buy. Okay, I mean that's the easiest way to put it. So anyway, we're walking down the aisle, pushing our cart, and all of a sudden, Maryann grabs this big ass jar of artichoke hearts. The thing is like this big, okay? Now, in 24 years of marriage, we have never had a single artichoke heart in the house, not one single time. Up to that point, I don't even know if I'd ever seen an artichoke heart. But anyway, she grabs this thing, puts it in the cart. I'm like, dear, what are you gonna do with artichoke hearts? She says, nah, I don't know, I'll find something to do with it. I'm like, well, what? What are you going to, we don't eat artichoke hearts. And she's like, well, I'll figure out a recipe. I'll throw it into a dish. I'll do something with it. I'm like, well, why don't you have an idea of, what you're going to make with these artichoke hearts before you just grab it? She says, well, don't worry about it. I'm going to get the artichoke hearts. So that's it. We get the artichoke hearts. So, of course, we come home. The jar goes in the pantry where it sits for the next 6 months, okay? Now, over the course of that 6 months, I would tell her periodically, dear, don't forget the artichoke hearts. Dear, you got artichoke hearts in the pantry. What are you going to do with the artichoke hearts? Now, I don't want them to expire. Then they'll be no good. You won't want them. We'll throw them away, etc. So after about 6 months, they're sitting there. I decide I'm going to take them out of the pantry. I put it on the kitchen counter, and I tell her, look, you've got to do something with the artichoke hearts, okay? She says, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. So this jar sits on the counter for about a week. And then all of a sudden, one day, it's gone. Okay? So I start looking around. Sure enough, it found its way right back into the pantry. I'm like, dear, we've got to do something with the artichoke hearts. She's like, don't worry about it. I got a plan. I'll take care of it. So anyway, another 3 months goes by, 4 months maybe. We were on vacation. I had some time off. I decided I would make a new recipe in the slow cooker. So I go online. I start looking around for recipes. Didn't have anything in particular in mind. But lo and behold, I find this recipe. It's called chicken, tomato, and artichokes. So I'm like, boom, there it is. I print out the recipe. I go up to the store. I buy all the ingredients. Already got the artichokes, of course. So I bring everything home, throw it in the crock pot, and cook it up. Now, the only problem was it only used half the jar of the artichoke hearts. So now that it's open, it's got to be refrigerated. So now I've got half of this big-ass jar of artichoke hearts in the refrigerator, okay? So anyway, I cooked the recipe, chicken, tomato, and artichoke, and we try it, and it is delicious, okay? It was so good, I figure, you know what, I'll wait a week, I'll make it again. Used up the rest of the artichoke hearts. So the second time I made it, it was even better than the first time. Now the only difference was the original recipe called for split chicken breast, bone in, okay? When I made it the second time, I used boneless, skinless. Tasted a lot better. I don't know if that was the reason. But in any case, now I've got another problem. It was so good, I wanted to go out and buy more artichoke hearts so I could make it again. But I held off, okay? A year or so of artichoke hearts in the pantry, that was enough for me. I didn't want to buy any more right away. But anyway, now I've got another problem. I come home from work today. Mary's been out shopping again.